yeah. You see it. What it do, baby? Welcome to the NASCAR Daily on a Thursday. Look, you see the shirt. You asked for the man, we got the man. Ross Chastain, driver of the number one for Trackhouse Racing, is joining us today. Ross, welcome to the NASCAR Daily on a Thursday. Here's the thing, man. So on my days, we decided we're gonna do interviews because I get some time to hang out with the bros, talk to y'all, right? Well, I asked the fans, I said, who do you guys want? Who's the first person you want? The first person they all want, it was like 18 different comments, Ross Chastain. Now, I don't know if this is because what happened recently on track, but I know that they wanted to see you, man.
Was it because I wore a cowboy hat at Coda, and then you copied at Phoenix and wore what you tried to make a cowboy hat, or what was that? Is that why?
First of all, that there was no copying. That was an authentic cowboy hat from Wrestler Company that I designed. It's a beautiful piece, okay? But I respect that you stepped up your game a little bit. I do like that.
I designed mine right off, I think, the Walmart shelf, and
There you go.
so
There you go. Hey, listen, man, we've been friends for a minute, okay? And I wanted to start this with a little by backing up a few years, not quite a few decades, but a few years. Um, so it was like you were running for Chip Ganassi Racing, right? And you had been making these moves, and now you're about to have a full-time gig. And the sponsorship fell through. We all remember the deal, right? But there was a party, I think it was at Philip Smalley's house for the Chili Bowl, and this is the first time I had seen you since it happened. And we had a moment, we were just talking, me and you, and I was like, "Brother, I feel so bad for you." And you just kinda had this smile on your face, and you're just like, "What am I gonna do? Quit? No, just gonna keep digging." And you did. And I was now, full circle, rocking the one for Ross Chastain, man. I love it.
yeah, I don't remember much of those Chili Bowl parties, but
No, no, I just remember that. That was early on. That was early on.
it was, and yeah, a lot of bush lights on those nights, and that's more of a funny full circle moment when I think back to some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, look, I took my days to pout about it and get mad and sad and all the feelings, all the emotions when that went down. But I realized after a few weeks, just gotta get up and keep moving and figure out a way. And yeah, it's worked out for sure. I didn't know it in the moment how it was going to work out, but um, I believe if you just get up and go to work, you tend to be pretty lucky if you do that.
Yeah. Now there's another crop of guys kind of doing it your way. I think the way that you got to this point has kind of paved a path for people to see another way to do it. And you got guys like, Carson, who you and Carson are very close. You guys kind of have like a little brotherhood mentor mentee type of situation going on.
Yeah, I'd use that term pretty lightly. More like I mean, we both, Al Neese gave us opportunities. And so without Al and Neese Motorsports, I don't know that either one of us are where we're at. Well, I know I'm not. And I don't want to speak for Carson, but yeah, he stepped into what the truck that I had driven years before, with with the same crew chief with Phil Gould, and um, he definitely did. He went faster, and a lot of the tracks go fast at. He went a lot faster and still hit a ball. But yeah, we have that bond because of Al. That's the centerpiece there, and a guy that we still both talk to and text and go stay with him. So
So you're talking about Al Neeson. That's really where you guys, met each other, where you started racing together, and without the Nice program, you wouldn't be where you're at right now.
yeah, and I think some of what you're kind of talking about is just the money, the investment side of getting into the sport and funding your way. Look, I funded myself through partnerships that I had that they wouldn't have sponsored anybody else but me. And Carson had the same thing. And every
Mhm.
driver has that when you start. You have to have a relationship with somebody that they'll sponsor you. And it's just a matter of how much that dollar amount is. And for Carson and I, it was lower than our competitors. Not the lowest, but it was on the lower end. And Al made up the difference to take us racing, and funded me in 2019 and put me in the truck all year and gave us a shot to go win a championship, and did a lot of the same for Carson.
I think it's interesting at this day and age, like, people get really spun out about where the money is coming from and all this stuff. I'm like I was telling this young cat, Cam, who races out west, and I was like, "Man, if you're just authentic in who you are as a person, then people wanna support you, the person, not you, the driver." Like, they support you being a driver and your success, obviously, but it goes a lot longer when someone is investing in you as a person.
I was the watermelon kid long before anybody knew who Ross Chastain was in the NASCAR world because that's who I am. That's who my early sponsors wanted to be a part of, just because of that, because of my family's business. I'm very fortunate, and now they want to be a part of it because of the brand we've built. So there's nothing more authentic that I could do than smash a watermelon when we win. So cool that I still get to do that and eat a piece right off the ground.
I love it. I think I know everyone loves it, and watermelon sales go up when Ross Chastain puts it in victory lane because I think a lot of your fans go off and do the same exact thing, and I think that's hilarious.
Hey, whatever sells. I'm a watermelon heart, so it's as long as they're buying them, they.
We're gonna jump forward a little bit to, like, 2 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little thing about my boy Ross Chastain here, okay? He knows that if he needs some fashion advice or like some shoes or something, where to go. So I know he was giving me some hell about my cowboy hat, but about 2 banquets ago, he didn't have any shoes. So guess who he called? Your boy. Ross, you're welcome. And I thank you for giving them back 2 years later.
Well, we do thing in twos. You were also the second call I made that night.
Well,
I
that's fair.
tried, Slick Williams. He did not come through. Who would carry to the banquet? And then I thought Mamba. In my defense, were purchased for me that day. I didn't have black tuxedo shoes. Somehow put two left in the box. I'm not kidding. Same size were in the box. I wasn't there for the purchase, but I was there for the unboxing about 10 minutes before I needed to be down on the red carpet. And you came through for me.
Hey man, you know, I always got you. Whatever you need. I love that story, and I think that was so funny because Philip comes running down the red carpet. I hand him the shoes. He goes running back. Not a hide, not a buy. Just got to get these shoes back to Ross. But man, so Trackhouse, right? We're in the present. You guys last when you hit the scene with them, it was fast, it was furious. You were making moves to the front, making some moves that people didn't love, but moves that you felt like were needed to win the race for you and your group. And it showed and it proved to be true. Now we're a few years beyond that, and I feel like you've got to this place where you've re-earned a lot of the respect, but people also know don't mess with that junkyard dog because Ross will give you the bumper if it needs to happen.
Yeah, I think I was in a really good spot until turn one, lap one at Coda. Obviously, that was a
Well,
big error, big mistake part, and not really anything else to say other than that. It was just a bad decision, and then followed through with bad execution of doing it. So I feel like before that spot, and now um, I get to live with that, and feel like we've navigated that decently since. But yeah, that yeah, year one of the current generation car, Gen 7, Trackhouse was so fast. Daniel,
yep.
so many races, and we did not. I on a lot of them. Took ourselves out of winning a lot of those races early on, and um, to live with that too. If I knew then what I know now, man, it would be such a different outcome of that year.
Listen, I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You've had a full day at the sim already. We appreciate your time here on the NASCAR Daily. I got two questions for you, and I'm gonna let you go. One, the moment when you and Kevin Harvick tangled at Darlington, I felt like that was a stamp on your career. That was like this guy, if he has a shot to win, he's gonna do everything he can, no matter who he's racing with. That was a big moment watching that, and me and Kevin have talked about it on his podcast, and he smiles about it now, but at the time, he wasn't so happy about it.
Neither was I. I felt like I mean, I wasn't either. I felt like I had earned the right as the leader, and it was my first time, and so I was a little crash for that chance, and then we crashed. So I should. live to see another lap. I still think that I was in the right. I went by a lap car. I had to go in the middle, and then he just stayed in the gas. And what made me so angry was that all the way to the wall, his exhaust was in my driver's door, and I could hear gas. I could hear the throttle on. So um, he acted like he couldn't do anything, and I was like, oh, you could have lifted that 4 feet to the right. So a big lesson learned there, and mainly just to not get behind on adjustments. I was so nervous leading so many laps that day that I didn't tell my crew chief like how much I needed to be tightened up. And those guys worked on their cars all day and caught up. And I learned that, and we went and won the next race.
Hell yeah. That's I love that. I love that story. I just love remembering that moment because, as a kid, I was a Kevin Harvick guy, but then, as I'm a friend of yours and I know how hard you worked to get to that point, and I was like torn, and when it happened, it was like a big explosion, man. It was a moment that I will never forget for sure. Now, my other question for you. I ask everybody this before I let them off the show. What is one thing about Daniel Suarez? Now, usually I just pick somebody that I know you're close with, right? What's one thing about Daniel Suarez that most people wouldn't know?
I mean, I guess a funny story he's told us is that when he first came to the states for racing, he thought somewhere up in like in the Northeast was where racing, where Mooresville is. Like, he went to like I don't know, Pocono or New York, somewhere up in Buffalo, because he'll say I went to Buffalo, and that was like Race City, which is Mooresville, North. There was an ARCA team or some story, and I don't know the details, but yeah, he got up there, and it didn't take him long. Yeah, he figured out he was in the wrong town. Like
That's
the team was there,
hilarious.
he was in the right spot for his team, but he knew he needed to get down to North Carolina.
Need need to get down to North Carolina. Well, I'll be sure to ask Daniel. I've never heard that story, so I'll be sure to ask him when we have him on the daily about his trip to Buffalo. Now, Ross Chastain, Watermelon Man, brother, it's always good to see you. Good luck this weekend, and keep that thing out in front. All
All
right.
right, thanks, Mamba. Good to see you, buddy.
Like I said, NASCAR Nation, on this day, we are bringing you your favorite NASCAR industry people. Keep giving them to me. You asked for Ross Chastain, we got Ross Chastain. I'm looking forward to the next one that y'all bring to the table. That's it for me in the NASCAR Daily. See you next week.